not just a skill but a necessity. Oculus Procellae is not merely a theme. It is a call to action for each of us to retain emotional calm and mental sanity with the hope of resurrecting lives, mentally and physically, even in the face of the most difficult challenges, adversities, and grim reality. We are honored to welcome our chief guest for today's evening, Justice Dalip Singh Ji. Justice Dalip Singh Ji of Kunadi was born in Kota into the illustrious Kunadi family, belongs to a lineage celebrated for its academic distinction and long-standing association with Mayo College, where 5 generations have studied. He commenced his education at Mayo College in 1956 and graduated in 1967, also serving as the college monitor. He earned a Bachelor of Honors in History from Government College, Ajmer, followed by a Bachelor of Law from Lucknow University. Joining the bar in 1974, Sir practiced civil, criminal, and constitutional law at the Rajasthan High Court. He held eminent positions, including President of the High Court Bar Association and Additional Advocate General. Appointed as a judge of the Rajasthan High Court and later judicial member and chairman of the Bhopal bench of the National Green Tribunal, Sir has led numerous social and environmental initiatives. Post-retirement, he continues to serve as chairman of a Supreme Court-appointed committee for the conservation of sacred Urans. We welcome you, sir. I now invite our principal, Ms. Neeti Bhalla Saini, to welcome our chief guest for the evening with a sapling. We would also like to extend a warm welcome to Mr. Saurav Sinha, Principal, Mayo College, all teacher escorts, delegates, and all the distinguished guests present here today.
I request our principal, Ms. Neeti Bhalla Saini, to escort the chief guest, Justice Dalip Singh Ji, for the lighting of the lamp, along with Principal, Mayo College, Mr. Saurav Sinha, our Vice Principal, Ms. Supreet Bakshi, our Director Internationalism, Ms. Jyotika Rathwar, MUN Coordinator, Dr. Gargi Singh, and our Secretary General, Yashnita Nambiar. More things are wrought by prayer than the world dreams of. Let us invoke the Lord's blessings through the sweet moment of prayer. The lighting of the lamp will be accompanied by the shlok dedicated to Goddess Saraswati. We bow to the Goddess Saraswati, the embodiment of knowledge and wisdom.
The school orchestra will now tune into melody. Presenting before you, Make Me a Channel of Your Peace, along with a Hindi composition based on peace and brotherhood. It entails an amalgamation of instruments like the sitar, violin, tabla, guitars, keyboard, drums, and vocals. Let us heal the fever and fret of the world with joy, benevolence, compassion, hope, love, and peace. Let us use the brick, to construct a bridge and not a wall.
That was indeed a delightful and a heartwarming performance. Without much ado, let us present before you a short video on the committees of the conference.
We now have a dance performance, Hope. Hope in a dance theme can represent the power of movement to uplift, transform, and heal. Through dance, hope is embodied in each graceful step as it conveys resilience, dreams of a better tomorrow, and the courage to rise above challenges. It's the rhythm of perseverance, the freedom of expression, and the belief that no matter the struggle, there is always a light ahead. In dance, hope becomes both a feeling and a message, a journey of triumph through motion and emotion.
Hope. What's my definition of success? Listening to what your heart says. Standing up for what you know is right while everybody else is. Tucking their tail between their legs. What's my definition of success? Creating something no one else can. Being brave enough to dream big. Grinding when you're told to just quit. Giving more when you got nothing left. It's a person that'll take a chance on something they were told could never happen. It's a person that can see the bright side through the dark times when there ain't one. It's when someone who ain't never had nothing ain't afraid to walk away from more profit because they'd rather do something that they really love and take the pay cut. It's a person that would never waver or change who they are just to try and gain some credibility so they can feel accepted by a stranger. It's a person that can take the failures in their life and turn them into motivation. It's believing in yourself when no one else does. It's amazing what a little bit of faith can do. If you don't even believe in you, why would you think or expect anybody else that's around you to? I done did things that I regret. I done said things I can't take back. Was a lost soul at a crossroad who had no hope, but I changed that. I spent years of my life holding on to things I never should have kept, full of hatred. Years of my life carrying a lot of baggage that I should have walked away from. Years of my life wishing I was someone different, looking for some validation. Years of my life trying to fill a void, pretending I was certain. They get it. I'm on my way, I'm coming. Don't lose faith in me. I know you've been waiting. I know you've been praying for my soul.
That was simply splendid. I now request our Honorable Chief Guest, Justice Dalip Singh, and our Principal, Ms. Neeti Bhalasani, to take their seats on the stage. I would now like to request our principal to present a token of gratitude to our distinguished chief guest as a small symbol of our immense appreciation and respect.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. I would now like to request our principal, Ms. Neeti Bhalla Saini, to address the gathering.
Good evening, everybody. It is with immense pride and heartfelt joy I welcome you all to the opening ceremony of MCGS MUN 2025. First and foremost, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to our chief guest, Shri Justice Dilip Singh Ji. We are truly honored by your presence, sir. Your generous time and support means a great deal to us. And what you are going to share with the children and how you're going to impact them, it's a gathering of young thinkers, and they are very vulnerable in their stage and very impressionable. So we hope that they are going to gain so much more from you. So thank you once again, sir, for being here with us. A special welcome to you, Mr. Saurabh Sinha, Principal, Mayo College, for gracing us with your presence today. To all the delegates and teachers from various schools and to our own dynamic students, a very, very warm welcome. It's a privilege to host so many bright young minds eager to question, converse, and create a change, bring about that change in the world. I'd also like to acknowledge the remarkable efforts of our Secretariat, from the conceptualization to flawless execution. Their dedication has been truly inspiring. This would not have been possible without the unwavering support of their mentor, Dr. Gargi Singh, the MUN coordinator, Ms. Jyotika Rathore, and the MUN facilitator, Mr. Keshav Gupta. This year, the MUN returns with a greater scope and purpose. It's an expanded range of committees, agendas that could not be more relevant in today's time, in our current political and social context. I don't want to use the word chaos, but honestly, it is a lot of chaos across the world, not just in our country, but across the world. Our theme, Oculus Prosalis, Eye of the Hurricane, which is amidst the center is peace. So everybody who's driving towards, or what you're going to be debating, would be towards peace, would be towards finding solutions. Yes, there are numerous problems, n number of problems, but as students, as young learners, are we able to find solutions? Are we able to drive our thoughts to solution is what these next 3 days will be about for all of you. It's both a reflection of our times and a call to action in a world that often seems very fractured and chaotic. We urge you youngsters to take some action, to come up with some suggestions and solutions that could really bring a change to the world. As delegates, you will tackle on complex global issues, many of which stem from an imbalance, not just in power or wealth, but in opportunities. In that light, this year's MUN also invites you to explore the vital distinction between equality and equity. While equality ensures that everyone's given the same resources or opportunities, equity is way deeper. It acknowledges that we don't only begin from the same, not all of us begin from the same place, and that true fairness requires meeting people where they are, as they are in the situation that they are, and providing them with what they need to succeed. As future leaders and change makers, my dear students, you have to understand this distinction, which will help you to create a more inclusive world, not just in terms of inclusion, in terms of job opportunities, but also when you make policies, and you would be in policy-making positions in your life sometime. You know, in the words of Martin Luther King Jr., it says, peace is not the absence of conflict. And I love this phrase. It says, peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of justice. And this quote always reminds us that true peace is not found in silence or stillness, but in action guided by fairness and compassion. It is only when justice is served through equity, inclusion, and understanding that the peace will take roots and will thrive. So MCGS MUN 2025 is more than just a simulation. It's a space to grow as leaders, build empathy, and find solutions. It's a time that you are going to sharpen your debating skills, your critical thinking skills, negotiation, public speaking, all those skills. But dear delegates, remember one thing: debate to understand, not to win. Speak to listen, not to be heard. And work not just for yourselves, but for a better, fairer world for everyone. On behalf of the entire MCGS team, I once again welcome you all. Let's make a difference to this conference and celebrate the intellect, collaboration, and hope. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, ma'am. Your guidance always inspires us all and reinforces the values we hold dear at our institution.
We now reach an important ceremonial moment. It gives us immense joy to invite our esteemed chief guest and our principal to present the gavels of authority to the chairpersons of our distinguished committees. These gavels symbolize the leadership and responsibility entrusted to our chairpersons as they guide their respective committees in the days ahead. First of all, we have the United Nations Security Council, Chairperson Nitya Arora, Vice Chairperson Saurish Bhardwaj, Rapporteur Advika Pankaj Narayan. United Nations General Assembly, Chairperson Devesh Gupta, Vice Chairperson Lakshya Krishania, Rapporteur Meher Singh. United Nations Advisory on Artificial Intelligence, Chairperson Muskan Ajit Saria, Vice Chairperson Nikhil Mittal, Rapporteur Alia Seth. Economic and Social Council, Chairperson Rachit Goyal, Vice Chairperson Rakshan Bhatt, Rapporteur Arna Agarwal. United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, Chairperson Sania Harwani, Vice Chairperson Shreya Dubey, Rapporteur Ragini Singh Rathore.
United States Senate, Chairperson Ananya Patnaik, Vice Chairperson Anushka Sethi, Rapporteur Abhilasha Majumdar. United Nations Environmental Programme, Chairperson Vaishali Sharma, Vice Chairperson Parth Agarwal, Rapporteur Ahana Jain. All India political parties meet, Chairperson Simran Kumar, Vice Chairperson Manan Singh, Rapporteur Mimansa Singh. Joint Crisis Committee, Chinese Cabinet, Chairperson and the Crisis Director Rahat Verma, Vice Chairperson Ivy Khati, Rapporteur Aryamani Shekhawat. Joint Crisis Committee ASEAN, Chairperson Prerna Diwan, Vice Chairperson Bhumika Pandey, Rapporteur Devishi Sharma. International Press Corps, Chairperson Harsh Jain, Vice Chairperson Sargam Jain, Rapporteur Manya Mod. I request all Executive Board members to step forward for the group photograph. I invite Sir Keshav to join the stage. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. It is now my great honor and privilege to invite our esteemed chief guest, Honorable Justice Dalip Singh Ji, to address the gathering.
Ma'am Principal, Mr. Sinha, Principal Mayo College, दो गुरुजन यहाँ हैं, बोलना बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाएगा. Respected teachers and staff, dear students and participants who have come for this conference, it's indeed an honor for me to be invited here today to be the chief guest for the opening ceremony of the Mayo College Girls' School Model United Nations Conference, on which a very apt and current topic is being discussed, with the object of finding means to promote justice, resilience, hope in the world stricken with conflict and uncertainty. Thank you. All these words, as I see them, are very aptly chosen, promoting peace and hope, as also in a world stricken with conflict and uncertainty. If you are following the current affairs, in the last 5 years or so, we have seen very worrisome time for the humanity as a whole. We saw the Corona crisis, then the Russia-Ukraine war, the Middle East crisis, and whatnot. In order to find solutions or considering a problem, you have to proceed by first accepting that there is a problem. Then if you come to the conclusion that there is a problem, then you analyze what are the causes of that problem. Once the causes have been identified, then who or what is responsible for the same and why, that must be found out. After doing so, the process of finding solutions can be undertaken, analyzing each aspect that you have dealt earlier. That is the way I would think that the chairpersons and participants in various committees would deal with the issues that are brought before them. The UN was preceded by the League of Nations, an international body which came to be constituted post the World War I in 1920. But that too failed to resolve the issues, and again the world was engulfed in the World War II in from 1939 to 1945, for good 6 years. Then the UN was constituted in 1946. Despite that, there was the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Israel wars in the Middle East, the Iran-Iraq conflicts, the armed conflicts in Africa, the Afghan wars, the Indo-Pak and the Sino-Indian wars, to cite just a few. So has the UN been able to effectively deal with what it was constituted for? That is something which the generation today and the participants in this organization, in this conference, must deliberate. Do wars lead to any solution? The defeated or the vanquished always want to seek their revenge, and the victors live in constant fear of this. So both are at arms race to protect and be protected from each other. As a result, the resources which should have been used for promoting better life, food, clothing, shelter, education, health, etc. to the people is denied to them, and instead a worthless stock of arm pile is created. Going back to the analytical approach to find ways how to remedy these, there will always have to be a give and take. In courts also, we have a system of mediation, where both the parties which have taken a stand, we are trying to bring them together by bridging the gap and then making them find their own solutions. In that, parties have to compromise on the issues and the stand that they have taken, and that is what I would expect, that even the nations would give up their stands which have been taken for a long time and try to resolve the matters in the better interest of their people and humanity as a whole. The need is to give up the issues of narrow nationalism, and instead what our Prime Minister spoke about at the New Delhi summit of the G20 of the heads of state, and I quote, "The welfare and happiness of humanity should always be ensured." This is the principle and the mantra which our scriptures have laid down and which our culture and Sanskriti has provided. In the Mayo College, our prayer book had a prayer, "Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kachit dukh bhav bhave." सभी सुखी हों, सभी रोग मुक्त रहें, सभी मंगलमय हों के साक्षी बने रहें और किसी को भी दुख का भागी न बनना पड़े. This is the mantra which was preached by our sages for a peaceful life and existence. This was the prayer for the welfare and well-being of all, including all human beings, animals, birds, plants, every creature on this earth. It was not limited to the human beings alone. Supposing, I'll just give you an example, because you cannot be happy in isolation. If there's some neighbor of yours who is unhappy or there is some tragedy befallen on them, you will not celebrate while they are, suffering from their tragedy. The same thing applies in the case of neighbors as well. If today, even beyond neighbors, I would say, we saw that in Turkey there was an earthquake. India rose to the occasion, and our NDRF and other teams went for helping out the people there. Why? Because it was a human disaster, and we needed to rise to the occasion to help out humanity. Unfortunately, what has happened in the present times is just the reverse. What has come to be is that we take pleasure if our neighbor or our enemy is suffering for some reason or the other. What has happened is that आदमी अपने दुख से दुखी नहीं है, वो दूसरा क्यों सुखी है इस बात को लेके दुखी है. Now, this is the root cause of the problem today. The nature of the wars, and as we see today in the Middle East to some extent, can be attributed to this kind of a mindset. The other aspect that has developed is it is not just wars by use of armed forces. Today, economic wars are also much in the offing. The economic progress made by one nation or one country becomes an eyesore for the other. Those who are at today, there is a race to reach the top. We take pride that our economy is growing at such and such rate and we will be reaching such and such position. That race has to end. This race is not going to lead anything for the humanity, for the good of humanity as a whole. I am sure the learned participants who are here and who prepared the film that we saw just now, they are more aware about all the issues which are there today in the world is facing today. And I need not elaborate on all those issues, as it is difficult कि जो खुद जागा हुआ है उसको कैसे आप जगाओगे. So इसलिए for me to say anything more on that would not be fair. One of the issues which I'd like to emphasize and which I had been dealing with while I was a judge in the National Green Tribunal was with regard to the conflict between development and conservation of nature. What we are seeing today, and everybody is talking about it on the international fora as well as within the country, is about global warming, climate change, depleting forests, and all these issues pertaining to environment. The need is therefore to strike a balance. Our courts developed or coined a phrase by the sustainable development. Unfortunately, we have never been able to define as to what is sustainable development. What has happened is that those who are exploiting our natural resources are continuing to do so, and the impact on the earth and the planet as a whole is being felt by everyone. The global warming is giving rise to the melting of the Arctic and the Antarctic poles and the ice caps. Very soon everybody is saying that the oceans are going to rise to such an extent that coastal areas are going to be submerged. Now this is a very, I would say, a dangerous situation that we are going to be facing very soon. But there is nobody willing to bell the cat, so to say. Likewise, the glaciers in the mountainous regions, they are melting and at an alarming rate. With the melting of the glaciers, the moraines also move. And the narrow valleys where the glaciers come into, the moraines create a sort of a natural dam, as a result of which in the mountainous region, the lakes are being formed. When there is heavy rainfall, these lakes, they burst out, and the net result is all down the riverside and the valley, there is destruction of life and property. In India itself, we have seen the similar disasters in Himachal, in Uttaranchal, in Sikkim, and various other places. The need, therefore, is to strike a balance and ensure that whatever we are doing, we do with the aim of conserving nature and take only that much which is needed Unfortunately, like it was said by Mahatma Gandhi, that there is enough for everybody's need, but not for the human greed. That is unfortunate, because in this race to reach the highest and become the number one developed country or the progressive country, we have destroyed most of our resources which nature had provided. To those who say that economic progress is necessary, I would remind them of the words of Dr. Guy McPherson, who said that try counting your money, holding your breath. Can you do that? If you need money, you also need your breath, and a pure one at that, so that you can enjoy what you have actually done. With these thoughts, I will leave you to deliberate the issues which are there in various committees in this topic of Eye of the Hurricane, which is not about to come, but I would say has already arrived, and we are in the midst of it. Please remember that it is only during peace that all forms of art, literature, monuments, beautiful sculptures, music, poetry came to be enjoyed by all of us and were created. These things can't be done in an atmosphere of strife and conflict. So it is all the more important that peace must be there, and this is exactly peace which in the Indian context has been referred to as Shanti. And the Shanti mantra that was given was very apt, and it was not limited to just peace amongst human beings, but it was Shanti for the sky, Shanti for the universe, Shanti for the Mother Earth, Shanti for the oceans and the water, Shanti for the medicinal plants, Shanti for the vegetation, Shanti for the Devtas, Shanti for the Creator Brahma, and Shanti for all. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your truly motivational words. I'm certain they have struck a profound chord in the hearts of everyone gathered here today. Your wisdom and insights have not only inspired us, but have also given us valuable guidance to carry forward. We are deeply grateful for your presence and for sharing your precious time and knowledge with us on this special occasion. I request our Honorable Chief Guest and our Principal to take their seats in the audience.
I would now like to call upon the Secretary General Yashnata Nambyar to address the gathering and introduce the Secretariat.
Honorable guests, respected faculty, and my fellow delegates, I want you to pause for a moment, close your eyes if you must, and just listen. Listen to the silence before the storm. Listen to the quiet before the battle of words, the war of ideas, the conflict between what is and what should be. Because in a few minutes, this silence will shatter into arguments, into policies, into debates that will attempt to fix a world that is breaking faster than we can mend it. I ask you this, are you ready for that responsibility? As we sit here, surrounded by the luxury of dialogue, let us not forget that beyond these walls, diplomacy is not just a competition. It is the last line of defense against war. I spent the last few years of my life trying to understand this world, trying to believe in it, but what I have learned again and again is that belief is fragile. And I will be honest with you. It is terrifying to look at the world today and still have hope. And that's when these questions strike my mind. How do we believe in peace when war seems more profitable? How do we trust in justice when power rewrites the rules? How do we fight for human rights when humanity itself is losing its meaning? Peace. Such a beautiful word, isn't it? So delicate, so poetic, yet so utterly misplaced in the world that we live in. Because let's be honest, war isn't just about tanks and treaties anymore. It's everywhere. It's in the headlines that twist reality, in the leaders who profit off war somehow, in the silence we keep because speaking up is just too complicated. We are told that chaos is inevitable, that conflict is just human nature. But if that were true, civilizations wouldn't have existed from the ashes of war. Empires wouldn't have crumbled at the hands of those who dared to question them. Peace isn't naive. It is the most strategic move that anyone can make. Oculus Prosley isn't just a theme. It's a reality check. Diplomacy isn't about sugarcoating problems. It's about walking into the fire and refusing to let it consume us. It's about seeing through the noise, challenging the future, and rewriting the very end. Because history won't remember the ones who played it safe. It will remember the ones who saw the chaos and chose to dismantle it anyway. We've grown up watching leaders shake their hands on international platforms, smiling for cameras while their nations continue to break under the pressure of their broken promises. We've seen treaties signed, alliances formed, and yet we still wake up to a world on fire. And so I ask you again, are you ready for this responsibility? Because let me tell you what this conference is not. This is not a stage for rehearsed speeches that sound good but mean nothing. This is not a debate where the loudest voice wins. This is not a game where victory is measured in how well you defend a policy that you don't even believe in. This is reality, our reality. I do not want you to win debates. I want you to change perspectives. I do not want you to just raise your placards. I want you to raise questions that make others question themselves. I do not want you to play the part of a diplomat. I want you to become the kind of leader that this world needs. We keep waiting for the right moment to act, the right time to take a stand, the right opportunity to do something that matters. But there is no right time. There is only now. And if we do not choose to act now, if we do not choose to care now, then we are as much part of the problem as those who silence instead of listen, who destroy instead of create. In the coming days, you will debate issues that define our world. Climate change, human rights, global security, economic disparity. You will challenge policies, propose solutions, and step into the shoes of those who hold the fate of nations in their hands. But beyond the resolutions you form, beyond the alliances you form, I urge you to remember why you're here. You are here because the world does not change through silent observation. It changes when young voices refuse to be blinded by what is said. It changes when we refuse to be mere spectators to the suffering of others. It changes when we, the youth, stop waiting for a better world and begin building it ourselves. And now, before we embark on this journey of diplomacy and discourse, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the people who have breathed life into this conference. A conference is not built in a day. It is built in moments of doubt, in endless drafts and redesigns, in missed meals and late nights filled with questions that start with, what if, and end with, let's try. And behind all of that are a group of my favorite batchmates who built this platform with heart, sweat, and unwavering belief in what MCGS MUN truly stands for. I present to you the Secretariat for the 13th edition of MCGS MUN from the batch of 2025-26. Please join me in welcoming them to the stage. The Deputy Secretary General, Tisha Kumar. The Director General, Sayana Khanna. The Director of Delegate Affairs, Amanat Kaur Pannu. The Director of Political Affairs, Arna Jaiswal. The Director of Media and Design, Abhishri Singh. The Director of Information Technology, Janya Agarwal. The Director of Hospitality and Management, Janvi Somani. These are the people who have not only built a conference, they have built a legacy. And now, as you take your seats in committee, as you raise your placards and engage in discourse, I ask you once more, let this conference be more than just an intellectual gameplay. Let it be the beginning of something greater. Take the passion that burns in you and let it outlive this moment. Let it guide the way you lead, how you speak, how you act within and beyond these walls. Because one day, the very issues we debate today will rise before you, not as a crisis in a committee, but as decisions in a boardroom, a parliament, or a courtroom. And when that day comes, I hope it is you who stands at the table. So I ask you one final time, are you ready for this responsibility? So let's begin. Let's begin something that does not end with this conference. Let's begin something that lasts. With that, I, Yashnata Nambiar, with the power vested in me as the Secretary General for the 13th edition of MCGS MUN, declare the conference open.
Thank you, Secretariat. I now request everyone to rise for the school song. With this, we come to the end of the opening ceremony. All delegates please proceed to the respective venues after the dignitaries proceed for the high tea in the conference room. All students please remain seated while the guests leave. Thank you and have a great evening ahead.